Good evening and welcome to Death Coming, a game from Next Studios, available on PC and Switch. Just kind of sort of give my initial impressions of this. So there'll be the gameplay in the background, just sort of, well, showing my initial playthrough. So this is the first 3 levels. I can't say I do particularly great in it, but I have to say that fundamentally I enjoyed my time with this. Now the game sees you taking on the role of someone who's recently died and has been asked by the Grim Reaper to help them with their job. The main aim being to kill people ready for the Reaper. So, kicking it off, nice little tutorial, I have to say. It was actually quite enjoyable, quite fun to do. Gives you a quick crash course on what to do and how to do it. And it is quite simple. It's point and it's click. It felt initially like this was just going to be one of those cookie clickers where as long as you just kind of find the thing to click and click it super fast, you'll kind of win. But as it progressed, it definitely got a little bit more complicated. So, as you can see here, just a quick tutorial taking you through, showing you kind of what you need to do. Quite basic really. But what I do like about this is that each level is kind of its own little model of a town that you can use and then find the bits that you need to do. But people aren't just stood around waiting for you to kill them. And that sort of will be shown in the next little bits. But let's just let Death click his, do his little tutorial here, shall we? One of these things here, the manhole one, I always worried I wasn't going to quite get the timing right, but it's got quite a bit of leeway either side there.
Triple kill. So yeah, that was the quick tutorial, and now it kind of drops you in. So, from what I can tell, this early on, each level gives you a couple of people to kind of take on, a couple of people to try and attack, kill. You can see them there in the top right hand corner. So there's 3 people. They are quite distinguished and so they are possible to find. I did struggle with a couple of them because, just getting used to how things worked. It was hard to try and work out, well, are they going to be hidden or are they not going to be hidden? Would they only appear at certain points? That's not the case. They're all fully and easily able to access. In terms of sort of killing them, this is kind of a bit, especially on this level, this first level, I don't do particularly well. I do get to bronze, just, but it doesn't go particularly well. And the main reason was that actually it was trying to work out what needs to be done, and something you can only click and use once. You can see me here just sort of clicking around trying to work out what can actually be used and what can't be used. But like, take those air conditioning units. They can only be used once. So once they've dropped, that's kind of it over. So for this guy here with the lawnmower, if I missed, I wouldn't have had another chance to kind of get hold of him. There's me missing in terms of not quite working fast enough on it. Triple kill.
That one I was not expecting. So I don't know what I did in order to get it going, but collapsing the house apparently led to death. And there we go. Oh, there you go. There's just me trying to use the other air conditioner. It didn't work. So I knew I had to try and get to the phone, couldn't quite work it out, just randomly clicking around. And something that this kind of showed me is, these levels are kind of replayable. You can kind of work out how you can do things a little bit better. And that's quite good. So this one, for example, so yeah, I saw that she was going to go to the phone, so I was able to kind of grab her, drop her down. But if I had worked that out right, I probably could have done that the first time around, and that would have given me a slightly higher score, I believe. Because I would have killed her in quick succession from someone else.
Double kill.
That one, another example of being impatient. I was able to move people around, but I probably could have got more of them if they'd been sort of a bit closer to each other. I think there were other ways to kind of use what was around there. There's a speaker to grab these, which I use a little bit later on.
Oh, it's just Death kind of telling us, yeah, we've got to kind of, it's not just kill the one. Now this one I thought was going to get him to drop down, but it didn't, which was annoying, to say the least. There we go, got him. Now, I feel like I could probably have used that one a little bit better. I don't know if I needed to have gotten rid of the bit beforehand, if he would have just fallen onto that and then perhaps fallen onto someone else. Maybe. Something that I definitely like to try again. And that was kind of a big bit that I took from these kind of levels, was that while I could get through them in a relatively quick period of time, once I kind of worked out where the key people were and how to get to like the minimum amount of deaths, I definitely sort of was thinking, well, how could I get more people? And some of it's around kind of like there, trying to kill 2 people with 1 warning. There are definitely more options to kind of do that. There, for example, got a nice triple kill. Love that. Kind of clicked that one a bit too fast. One thing I didn't use at any point through this was the hint system. I'm not entirely sure how useful it would have been. See down there I've got 1222 available. This one made a bit of a mistake. You can see the guy in the blue there underneath the parasol. He's the one you're supposed to kill. The only way I could work out to kill him was with that electricity. I've used the electricity, so I can't kill him. So that one I'm going to miss and have no choice then but to kind of move forwards. Which, kind of a shame. I definitely could have done that one better, and I think, taking it on now that I know that, as you can see there's 2 extra people that I could get into the pool and then get extra kills. So, yeah, and you'll see me here now just clicking around trying to work out, well, is there another way I can kill him? Is there a way I can use what's here to try and do something? There isn't. There really isn't. Which, yeah, a bit of a shame. Definitely a bit of a shame.
Double kill. Triple kill.
Well, I think now what we'll do is we'll flick forward to the next level. So you can sort of see me here and you can see how this kind of progresses. And sort of some of the other parts that kind of come in here. Because like what I consider good games, it did enough different per level to keep introducing things. That meant you never felt overwhelmed. I do kind of hate games that kind of take you and say, here are all of our mechanics. In this one level, you've got to kind of learn them. Oh, by the way, I'm going to shove a little thing up on screen for 2 seconds. That means that if you don't see it now, you can never go back to it. I don't like that. I definitely like it where things are brought in slowly but surely, giving you a bit of time to get comfortable with them. And that's something that Mario does really well, and that's, this does this quite well as well. Now, I don't know how complicated it gets in the later levels, and whether it can continue introducing new mechanics, but, it's worth looking here. This part here is just me playing around with the lights. There was clearly something I could do here. I do not work it out. Anyway, let's jump ahead to the next. So again, introducing the new concept for this, which is that some bits that you're trying to click actually have people looking over them. So that means you can't set something up. So there, for example, I click it, it's green, and that's because it's being watched by someone. So I need to get rid of that someone in order to then do the next thing. And nice and conveniently, we've got that. The phone is ringing with this precarious box. Don't drop it on me, please. And then, yeah, as you can see, so some things will need you to kind of work it through. I'm clearly not very smart, because I think there was more I could do in this level that I clearly didn't do. But, that's why there's replayability. That's what we like. We like replayability because it allows us to learn exactly how to do these things. So this one here is, Death wants him to launch the big rockets that's going to kill lots of people. Obviously, Death, that's his job. But someone is sabotaging it. A sandwich. I don't know if anyone's going to get that reference, but who cares? So yeah, let's go into it. So in this level, there's a little bit more that you can do. I definitely early on just clicked around randomly and happened to get a few things. Again, there are things that I could definitely do differently, and more importantly that I could combine in a slightly different way. Yeah, I didn't really understand why it asked you to start here. I thought originally that like with these people arriving, I was going to be able to drop that big thing on top of them and get like good number of big kills. However, that wasn't actually the case. I think it just kind of wanted you to mess around with things in the locker rooms once people got in there. However, because I didn't quite realise that there were sort of I wasn't able to set some things up. Yes, I was able to get the dog to go and attack that one guy. It felt a bit of a waste.
Triple kill! Mega kill!
Yeah, missed that one. Again, my timing quite terrible. Some of it's trying to work out whether or not like isometric views work quite well for some things, but it can mean that sometimes actually you can miss things because they're not quite where you want them to be, or likewise you actually hit someone who looks like they're out of it, but they're actually not. So you can see there's people here actually moving around, and so actually on that right hand side, the person that was looking through the blinds, that's this big leader guy for this area. And he kind of does lots of different things. You can kind of control where he goes and what he's doing. Yeah, those blinds don't do anything. Shame. There's some things that you can see. One part of this actually reminds me a little bit of the new Hitman series, where there are people saying, "Ooh, that looks really dangerous. I sure hope that this doesn't get turned on and I die." There's clearly parts. There's a guy on top of a fan that you'll see in a bit, where you just need to turn the fan on and he dies. And he keeps saying, "This fan is stuck. What if this fan was not stuck?" Here I am trying to mess around with these barrels. I feel like there's something to do with the barrels and kind of getting them to roll and kill a large number of people, but I couldn't quite get the timings right. So in the end, I ended up killing them all individually because, well, why not? There it goes. And down he goes. Precarious box. Kill fan. Simples. So yeah, here's me dealing with the fans. This guy on top of the fan was saying, "Oh no, this fan is stuck. Whatever shall we do?" And clearly it was turn on the fan and he'll die. Because there's no other reason why he'd be stuck on top of the fan except to try and fix it. This is another one of those ones where you kind of have to do something else in order to get it. This isn't that it's being guarded, it's actually that it needs breaking. So you kind of just drop these things and then it breaks and then it will do and go crazy. Yeah, and so this is the next little bit that it introduces. So we've had two introductions here. It's kind of that the death bits that kind of need a little bit of extra work, and then you've got these angels. So after you reach a certain number, I couldn't quite work out what triggered them, because on the next level, they kind of triggered at a certain point. I wasn't sure if it was number of deaths or number of accidents that were done. And I kind of do make the mistake. Basically, you can't have something clicked and active to go, and then to end up with it in sight. Always you lose one of your lives. So you get 3 lives per level, and if you lose one of them, if you lose them all, then you lose the level and you have to start again. This is one of the ones where you kind of go, I wasn't sure what the range is of that bomb. So I was kind of trying to wait and thought, well, I just wanted them to both be in range. Turns out the range was actually quite big and I didn't need to worry quite so much. This is me now just randomly clicking to find out what actually can be interacted with and what can't. There's me there going, well, there's a worker doing that. Oh, I've killed him now. Now what do I do? And ended up turning that and it didn't really do anything. And I was like, well, did I do something wrong? It took me a little bit of time. A little bit later I did work out that they had to be shoveling the coal in, and then I kind of released the gas at that point. But yeah, it took me a little while to get that one just right. A valve that controls the gas pipe. Yes, we know that. Yeah. Some bits. We got the telephone there. We kind of saw already how that works. Yep, clearly, you know, broom holding open a very dangerous room. That makes sense. I just clicked that, got them to die. That was quite simple.
Double kill.
And there's some of those, you know, there are parts here which are nice and simple to do, and other bits that aren't. So trying to sort of link and combine things. Like, there's clearly an element here of you can get better at this in order to get the higher scores. So you can see there, like, to get to gold, I'd have to actually get 50 deaths. And I don't really know how I would get to that in this level. There's clearly ways that things can be combined. So the guys there that are welding, I didn't realise at the time, but you can actually collapse that and that would actually get 2 of them down. Over here, there's this one which this one's quite elaborate. So you click the bookcase which sends the leader into the room, but that does nothing. So you can't kill them in there. So what you've got to actually do is send the leader away and then send someone else into the room, and then the leader comes in, sees them both canoodling, and then kills them both. But yeah, trying to work those ones out, that was definitely a bit more complicated than I wanted it to be. But I won't try and show off too much of this. There is quite, you know, there's a lot here to show. I'm excited by it. I definitely want to go back and try and play this. It's available on PC and Switch. I'm kind of tempted to get this for the Switch though, if I'm honest. This feels like a really good kind of mobile portable type game. The kind of thing that you can just kind of pick up and play in a bit of downtime. I actually did another level of this while I was just waiting for some people to come online to play some Valheim. Because you can kind of just drop in, do a few little things, kind of work out how it might work, and kind of drop out. And the good thing about the Switch, of course, is that you can kind of just suspend that and leave that and come back to it later. So yeah, definitely an enjoyable type of game. Anyway, I think that's enough for now. I've done a nice good little bit of time having a look at this. Go pick it up. It's available pretty much everywhere. So yeah, as I said, Switch, Epic Store, Steam. Go give it a purchase. And until next time, thank you very much, and goodbye.